Hi, I'm René Barilleaux, former Head of Curatorial Affairs here at the McNay Art Museum in San Antonio. The exhibition, Untitled, surveys the past 20 years of acquisitions of contemporary art by the McNay, and it opens with the first work that I purchased as contemporary art curator, which is a painting by Susie Rosmarin, a Houston-based artist. Untitled is organized around the 7 elements of art: line, shape, color, form, texture, value, and space, and one principle of design, pattern. This exhibition invites viewers to reflect on how material choices and formal qualities shape the meaning interpretation of each artwork. I'm standing next to a gunshot work by the artist Margaret Evangeline, where she literally takes a shotgun and fired at a stainless steel panel. You can see how she's pierced the panel in 3 places, creating a beautiful liminal abstract painting that kind of teeters between sculpture and a traditional painting. Margaret's work was the last work I acquired as Head of Curatorial Affairs at the McNay. This is a painting by the abstract artist Cleve Gray, an expressionist artist from primarily working in the mid to late 20th century. This painting typifies the use of line in art, and here we have a beautiful black line that Cleve Gray has used to kind of tie together all the elements of his painting. So we have various forms, white, green, orange, that are then tied together with a black line and resting over a red background. I'm standing in front of a large work by this Florida-based artist, Jose Alvarez. It's partly a collage, it's partly a painting, it's a assemblage. In this work, Jose uses paint, but also paper collage, and also things like feathers and quills and other kind of organic material. You can see here, for example, or along in here, big swaths of paint here to create this really kind of psychedelic fantasy that really kind of just draws the viewer in and really kind of surrounds them with all of this kind of great imagery, but also color. We're in this section looking at texture, and you can see the various textures that are used. The work appears at first to be just a flat, two-dimensional work. The closer you kind of examine it, you realize that it's made of many, many different elements. I'm standing in front of a painting by Rosalind Schwartz, an artist based in Illinois, and the painting is called Big Perfume. And the painting was based on a photograph from a book of photographs of Parisian storefronts. So here we have a perfume shop, and then we have the kind of an overscaled perfume bottles resting on some platforms with some abstract and some decorative kind of work going around it. So the painting goes between a realistic kind of depiction of a storefront to a much more of a kind of surrealist or a fantasy world by combining the elements that she sees in the photograph with elements that she invents on the canvas. We're looking at a work by Martine Gutierrez, an artist based in New York, and it's a photograph very consistent with Martine's body of work. Martine herself is the model for all of her work, and she builds sets and sometimes very elaborate kind of environments in which she places herself. This was from a series she did on kind of female archetypes, including the one here, Maria, which is a depiction of the Virgin Mary. Other works in this series depicted Our Lady of Guadalupe, for example. So Martine poses as in costume and in a set as one of these female archetypes, and then confronts the viewer with a very direct kind of gaze. We're looking at a print by Amelia Mesa-Bains, who's an artist based in the West Coast. And the print is called Strange Fruit, and it's based on the image is based on a Billie Holiday song about lynchings of African Americans in the American South. And so here we have figures sort of hung in the trees here, referencing the lynchings, in this kind of mystic and kind of ghost-like portrayal, and where she's bringing together kind of the beauty or the wonder of nature and growth in trees, but also the tragedy of these lynchings and sort of death and sorrow. This is a very recent acquisition, and this is the first time it's on view at the McNay. I'm standing in front of a garment by the artist Leslie Dill. This garment was used in a performance that Leslie did many years ago It's called Paris Speaking Dress, and the text on the garment is based on the work of Emily Dickinson. So Leslie has used the poetry of Emily Dickinson as the basis for many works over her career, and she really kind of sees this beautiful fusion of the text with the visual, so that we have both the kind of the story that and the feelings that Emily Dickinson put into her writings, that we see manifest as three-dimensional objects and as performance works and as other kind of works by Leslie, in Leslie's hand. We're looking at a painting by Emily Joyce. This was acquired by the McNay through a program called Collecting Texas, where we looked at works by artists associated with the various towns and cities in the state of Texas. Emily Joyce comes out of a background in decorative painting, so she's very skilled in knowing decorative painting techniques such as faux bois, where you're making kind of the imitation of a wooden surface, or other kinds of ways of treating a surface so it has a beautiful decorative feel. I'm standing in front of a large collage by Kelly O'Connor. Kelly O'Connor is an artist based in San Antonio. In her work, she often references the world of Walt Disney. In this particular work, she's referencing both Walt Disney and The Sound of Music. So we have in the central figure of Julie Andrews coming over the hill here, followed by the Von Trapp children. And we have Captain Von Trapp over to the side. And then below, we have a kind of a montage of characters from Disney and Disney movies. And then also other elements that feel very nostalgic. And some combination of all of these with the invented surfaces of Kelly's create a kind of dystopian environment that these characters are all now living in. I'm standing in the section of the exhibition focused on color, and here we have Kelly's very, very multicolored collage. So she's really bringing in a lot of different kind of color palettes, as opposed to sort of focusing on one or a more monochromatic surface. She really is employing color that's just kind of creating an emotional kind of response to the work. Among viewer favorites at the McNay is this installation by Sandy Skoglund called The Cocktail Party. And here you see a suburban cocktail party. All of the surfaces, though, are covered in cheese doodles. Sandy is known for using a wide range of materials in her work. And she did, at one point, was very interested in food and using foodstuffs to make art. And so this is an example of when she was thinking about the way she can transform food products into artworks. This is in the section of the exhibition focused on color. Here we see this really brilliant monochromatic palette, bright orange surfaces, and really kind of the way the color adds a certain sense of intensity to the installation.